NFL player who played for the then San Diego Chargers thought he only had to pay income tax one time.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm in the clear,
That's
man.
an idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the feds went,
No, that's plausible. I didn't know.
1,000%.
The problem is, like,
He got one contract.
If you get arrested for murder, there has to be intent.
Yes.
If you go 68 miles an hour, it don't matter. If you file your 1099,
But I filed my 1099.
hey man,
Your Honor.
I'm 60 years old. I'm still in a 1040 EZ.
That was so great when you did your own taxes that way. Done.
All right, we continue. Howie's got a chart. Just somebody name myself.
You brought charts?
We have. Yeah. I'm happy to do it.
Mike sucks. What? By the way, were you ever in musical theater as a kid?
Yes.
Do we have any footage of
No,
that?
were you?
Thank God.
Can we?
Do you know why Greg wasn't? Because he was president of the school. He was the captain of the football team. Voted best hair, biggest flirt.
Couldn't sing.
Couldn't.
Couldn't
You
sing.
didn't
couldn't,
have to,
Couldn't
bro.
You
carry
didn't
a
have
tune.
to. And by the way,
Couldn't
Greg,
carry a tune in a bucket.
but you still don't have to.
No.
You don't.
No, thankfully. Yeah.
Shooting fish in a barrel.
What is it like not having to worry about what you eat, how your hair looks? What is that like?
Please, please. I don't know. Let's ask him, Howie.
Well, there are burdens of all kinds.
Do you even know what's okay? What was your Levi's size in high school? 32, 32?
I think so, something like that.
In
So
protests.
what musical theater were you in? Like, what was the main show? Oklahoma?
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Here we go.
Stand
I
down.
just
Stand
know
down.
the Terry Tikanawa.
Don't look at me.
Here we go. Bali high will find you.
Wow.
Help me, Sully. I don't know the rest of the words. Like from the sea.
Yeah, that sounds good.
To the sea, you alone are my island. Come to me, Bali high, Bali high.
Guys, can we hear Blue Spanish Eyes, please?
I'm giving it a clap.
Thank
I'll
you.
clap.
Oh, I didn't give that.
Show us that chart real quick.
Show us the chart.
So I'm here today to start a formal protest on behalf of my generation. We have debt. I'm not happy about it. It's on me. I understand. It was below 5 trillion in 2005. We're now at 34 trillion. Interest payments on the debt now are more than Medicare, what we spend on kids, what we can spend on veterans. It's obnoxious.
Adios and not goodbye.
If we could have the monster from Jekyll and Hyde sing this away, please. That's my really big point. Let's just enjoy.
No, we were enjoying.
I can't,
Your heart
I can't keep
can
this straight face.
hold.
Please.
This is the death knell.
Say CC.
Say CC. Yes.
Say you and your Spanish eyes away.
Get up on the stage.
For me.
Get on the stage. Get on the stage. Go. Go. Here we go. Hey, everybody.
Ooh, Spanish eyes.
Ooh, up that knee there.
Ladies and gentlemen. Woo. Prettiest eyes in all of Mexico. True Spanish eyes. Please smile for me once more before I go. Soon I'll return.
What was the guy's name in the honeymooners?
Over Humperdinck, all the love your heart can hold. Please say CC. Say you and your Spanish eyes wait for me.
Welcome to the Big Biz Show, featuring insight, analysis, and a lot of stuff that's none of your business.
Hold on. This is the Big Biz Show. I think it is their business.
Making the markets work for you. Here's the man with the plan, Sully.
Oh, look, something new. Oh, man. It is the Day Trader Trio, otherwise known as Gonna Phone It In on Thursday. Mike, take over.
Big Biz Show. Wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, we appreciate you being along for the ride.
I missed something.
Oh. As always, we shout out to our men and women in uniform. Over in 170 countries in the American Forces Network, all the ships at seas. Thank you for what you do for us. Costa, Greg Todorov, Howie's at the bar. What? Howie? The man who stirs the drink, Sully.
I have to say this.
There's the drink.
Remember we had that guy on that instead of putting his computer up higher, he just got his knees?
Yeah,
Remember
yeah.
that guy? I said, hey, Tom, looks like you're hanging from a building there. It's like Batman. Remember the Batman, they're like this? Right.
Oh, they crawled the building? Yep.
Right. I kind of feel like Howie's taking that position with the pantsuit today.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, listen, when your director called and said, hey, I've made 5 or 6 calls and you're our first choice.
What's your favorite movie? Gen Z one. They start over again? Is it Gen Z and like Gen A?
Finding Dory, one of the best sequels, I would have to say,
Finding
ever.
Dory.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Stop
Great
it.
one. It's a great one.
Finding Dory.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to talk about something contemporary.
The Barney movie.
Yeah.
Yes. Not allowed to mention that on
Do you
TV
realize,
after
so
that.
Howie, you're going to get married in the next 5 years, you're going to have kids. There's going to be like a 16-year period. Greg knows.
Oh, my
when
God.
you can't go to a movie, there's no actual humans in it.
Right.
It's
Yep.
like
Yep.
Arthur, the movie.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, 100%.
All right. You say Dory, Finding Dory?
Yeah, it's Ellen DeGeneres. She's a famous talk show host
Oh.
with the fish now.
She's one of those. Anyway, hey, Paul Travers is with us. We had an email to Greg, who's trying to hold it together.
True story.
One of the shareholders, apparently, of a company called VUZI, which is Vuzix, said we should interview this guy. So guess what? We're very important. We got Paul Travers and Greg. Was it tough to get him? Was it?
Oh, no.
Or was he a laydown?
Well, he's very charismatic, you will find.
All right.
And intelligent and fun to talk to.
Do you know what he looks like?
So I think we're going to enjoy
He
it.
looks like he moves like a panther.
Oh, really?
He looks like Sean Connery. Paul, how are you, sir? Good to see you.
I'm great with that intro.
Paul, I'm going to let you normally I will ask questions, but you guys are in the AR space. That's
Yes.
augmented reality.
Yes, that's correct.
Can you tell us the difference for us between AI and AR?
So you got AI in your phone today. You hold it up and you look at the phone and it's almost useless. Like when you're doing closed captioning for hearing impaired people, right? Instead of being in the scene, being part of the real world, they're looking at their phones. You put a pair of augmented reality glasses on, you're in the real world, and when I'm looking at you, the closed captioning is coming up right underneath you like it was part of a word bubble that you were saying. So AR enables AI to be incorporated into the real world, not through some phone system.
I keep on hearing, though, that AI is going to be our downfall. AI is going to come back and bite us in the butt in the long run. Do you see
Well,
it
not a
coming
good
that
one.
way?
It's not my worst Wednesday.
No.
I don't see that personally. I mean, I see AI as being nothing but incredibly helpful for people. We have companies that use our glasses for warehouse picking and packing, let's say.
Okay.
You have glasses on, you can take a person who's never packed a pallet in his life, and with an AI engine running, within a half an hour, they're packing like an expert. It takes weeks to learn how to pack a pallet. If you're under packing by 20%, guess what? Shipping costs just went up. If the pallets fall over on the FedEx truck, it's going to take 10 times longer to empty the truck. AI is going to make augmented humans. It's going to make people better at doing things. It's going to make them almost flawless at times. So I see AI as augmenting humanity in a big and a positive way. from entertainment right on through.
What you're saying is, what I love here is that you're saying makes people more efficient, because I think the fear is, to your point, what was the fear when Ford put up the production line, right?
Replace humans.
Replace
Yeah,
humans,
totally.
right?
Robots.
Right, and I think that's the fear, but guess what? We've made it through that, if I'm not mistaken.
We have.
We made it through
So far.
the robotics area. So I think that's the big fear. Can you talk about what Vuzix does exactly? You guys create, obviously, an on-ramp to more efficiency, but talk about the glasses specifically and talk about what you guys actually do as a company.
Let me say that people have probably heard of this augmented and virtual reality wearable glasses space for years. And it's, quite frankly, that's where we're at, and it's what we do, but we make glasses that literally look like a conventional pair of glasses now. There's a spectrum of what this technology will look like. At the Apple Vision Pro that just came out, this thing is a tank. It weighs pounds. You couldn't use it walking down the street, although there are some people that were trying to make points on YouTube wearing the glasses down the street, but it's just not designed for that. You use it in your living room at best. The glasses we make, I got a pair of them right here, and you can see these things look like a pair of Oakley-style sunglasses. You put these guys on, there's displays built into them. This whole idea of closed captioning that I just mentioned for hearing impaired people.
Amazing.
Yeah.
These glasses are on and they're reading to you what people are saying.
My question for you is this. Are we at the tip of the spear? Are we 5 years in?
We are just getting started, though.
Thanks, Paul.
No, actually,
No, we're at the
you
tip
were
of the spear 26 years later, young man.
doing fine all by yourself. It's all right, I'm playing, of course.
You are part of the show. You're on every day
Yes.
from now on.
Yeah.
Well, I love.
Do you have a question,
So-
Mr. Green?
And Paul, as far as the glasses and the applications and things like that, have you even scratched the surface? Because you mentioned the closed captioning for somebody, and it makes just perfect sense, and it's such a no-brainer. But I mean, how far is that field that you can make people's lives better with?
Yeah, dude, it's going to be everywhere. It's going to replace your phone. A lot of people have a hard time believing in that, but when's the last time you picked up a map, a physical paper map? Nobody does that anymore.
Your phone or your
The other
iPad
day-
or whatever.
Everybody just uses their phone and it comes up. Imagine when you get your glasses on and the directions are just in your glasses, painted on and wrote in front of you, like it was just that. You're never going to pick your phone up again. We had some young folks in
Punks.
college.
You mean young punks? Yeah, we heard you.
Well, they were college students from Georgia Tech, and they've been using our glasses. These are brand new, by the way, the ones that look like this, Oakley style thing.
Yeah, right.
These things are brand new. Their screen times are down 40% because
Well, it's because they're watching this screen instead, right?
you don't have to watch it all the time, though. Right now, when your pocket buzzes, you grab your phone, you get disconnected from everything that you're doing.
Right.
Here, the message, a short version of it comes up in the glasses, nix it, ignore it.
So
ignore
Paul,
it.
can I tell the glasses call Paul, or can I
Yeah.
tell the glasses take me to an all-you-eat pizza place, and it's just gonna boom bring it up for
Which,
me?
by the way, are his top two numbers in his favorites.
Paul and pizza right there.
Now that the glasses are finally here that people will wear, you can get these with your prescription. So this is just like buying a regular pair of glasses. But now all that information runs through your phone. So you'll be able to do from Alexa, all these AI engine stuff, direction informations, order an Uber.
Honestly, I would like you to come back. I'd love to come to San Diego at some point if you can. But let me ask you one last question. Is there a proprietary advantage to what you guys are doing? Is this your technology, or are we
Yeah.
just marketing this?
No, that's what's so cool about where Vuzix is at. We've been doing this for a long time. We have a manufacturing facilities right here in Rochester that build the optics, which are practically impossible to make. The lenses that allow you to look in and see a virtual image out in space, they're very expensive. There's very few places that can make them. We do them here in Rochester. We have 350 plus patents and patents pending. They're going to see lots of product with our brand name on it, but you're going to see a ton of it coming from other companies.
We're gonna launch it right here because you're coming back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Paul Travers.
Paul Travers.
Paul Travers, Vuzix, V-U-Z-I. I would wear those all day.
Yeah. I would
Sunglasses.
too.
I've been waiting for it. I want to. I mean,
Oh, look, Hallie's
Netflix
here.
while you're driving.
You're not as mouthy as Mary. I have a question though. Is it safe to drive when you've got the thing in your?
Okay, that's the first thing I thought about. If
Actually, the fifth thing, because you asked 4 questions before that, so
Sorry.
it wasn't.
Pizza and Paul, but driving, because if they don't want you looking at your screen, you could be distracted by.
Totally.
I think it's more low profile. You're getting just passive updates. You don't need to turn your head.
Exactly.
Like it's just
Like you said,
What's
you
the
take
passive
everything's
don't have to
transparent.
This
disengage.
off ramp, go over. Okay, so
Yeah,
you're not
yeah.
really going.
yeah.
Right, okay.
One little thing in the corner that says turn left, turn right.
That's
Anyway.
awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Like your wife in the back seat. Big Biz Show. See you in a minute. One little thing in the corner.
Not anything I would
Or
know
as
about.
Greg likes to say, Kona.
Loft 100 Studios, The Big Biz Show, our affiliates, and our hosts are not registered investment advisors or broker-dealers.
Our show hosts make no commitment that the purchase of securities of companies profiled or otherwise mentioned in our programming
are suitable or advisable for any persons, or that investment in such securities would be profitable in general.
Given the nature of our company's profile and the lack of an active trading market for their securities, and investing is highly speculative and carries a high degree of risk. We profile selected publicly traded and privately held companies on our program.
Most of these companies that we profile have provided compensation to Loft 100 Studios and its host for the profile coverage.
3, 2, 1.
From time to time, we sell shares of the companies profiled in the open market that we receive as compensation for coverage of client companies.
But never sell stock if we are speaking about, interviewing, or covering a public company who has paid compensation.
Specific questions on compensation can be obtained by contacting producer at sullyandgroup.com.
Listeners should verify all claims and do their own due diligence before investing in any securities mentioned on this program.
Investing in securities is speculative and carries a high degree of risk.
We encourage our investors to invest carefully. Duh.
And read the investor information available on the website. On the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, at www.sec.gov.
Or the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, FINRA, at www.finra.org.
The Big Biz Show for the Loft 100 Studios in sunny, beautiful, sometimes humid Southern California.
David Garofalo has been our gold expert on the program a number of times. Chairman and CEO of a company called Gold Royalty Corp. Their stock symbol GROY, but he joins us here to talk about, is there a fallout that happens with you in the positive direction, David? When we saw what happened with the trading recently, where the bottom falls out, it's a correction. It goes back to values we had in May, which doesn't sound so bad, but suddenly gold is, as you predicted, suddenly back on top of the heap because there's been a ton of buying even through the Fed. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the fundamentals for gold are really being driven by expanded monetary policy, low interest rates for a long period of time, and the continued expansion of money supply. But when you see corrections like this in equity markets, like you saw in the dot-com bust back in the early 2000s, the great financial crisis, or more recently, what you're seeing is the baby being thrown out with the bathwater. All the equities are getting sold off, including the gold equities. But what happens inevitably after a correction like this in general equity markets is gold continues to march upwards, and the gold equities significantly outperform the general equity market. And they're on sale right now. They've been significantly underperforming the commodity, and there's going to be a significant and severe correction upwards for gold equities, but in particular, the royalty companies, as you correctly mentioned, because that provides unmitigated exposure to the gold price, completely protected from inflation and the cost structures that we see among the gold producers.
So interestingly enough, David, if you think in terms of what gold royalty companies do in terms of being almost a financial institution for the mining business, and if you look in the past, even though the market's is going to rebound, I mean, if you go back to the Great Correction where the Dow was in territory below 5,000. Look at it now. We're in the 30,000s. If Dow was a great buy back then, it was a great buy now. But gold is going to survive this one. Gold is not going to have an inverse relationship with the stock market this time. Tell us why, because this is really important. Because many times gold has an inverse relationship with how well stocks are doing. Not this time.
Yeah, look, gold is volatile in the immediate periods, in the short term, but over a long period of time, it's been a one-way trade. Gold's gone from $35 an ounce to over $2,500 an ounce today since the U.S. government abandoned the gold standard in the 1970s, and the purchasing power of the U.S. dollar has gone down 96% over that period of time. So you are very well placed to be in gold really over the last 50 years, and you will continue to be well placed because the temptation to expand money supply is just too great for central banks and governments to do, particularly when they're dealing with so much debt on their balance sheet. Global debt to GDP is 350%. The only thing they can do is devalue the currency in order to devalue the debt. There's no fiscally responsible way for them to repay the debt. So gold's going to march upwards regardless of what happens in the general equity markets.
David Garofalo, Chairman, CEO, Gold Royalty Group, ticker symbol GROY, with us here in the Big Biz. David, is there one country that is gold mining, gold exploration, gold royalty friendlier than all the rest out there? Where is the United States as far as that is concerned in being your friend, letting you get the stuff out of the ground?
Yeah, I think it depends on the state. And it's interesting, there's a economic think tank here in Canada, the Fraser Institute, that actually ranks jurisdictions globally based on mineral potential, low regulatory risk, and low political risk. Nevada tends to be in the top 5 in the world every year.
California, by the way, just below Serbia. Gas prices.
I'll take Serbia any day. California.
Well, I said nobody ever. Yeah. I'll get a T-shirt. I'll take Serbia every day. So that's a great point, because we were talking to Patrick DeHaan from GasBuddy.com about gas prices, who's a consumer advocacy group regarding gas prices. And what's interesting here is if you think in terms of friendly states, California is not one of them. But is there government intervention in mining? I can't imagine what the reason would be, or other than maybe environmental?
Yeah, well, yeah, certainly in every major jurisdiction, you're going to have an environmental regulatory process that you have to go through to demonstrate you're going to be building responsibly, and you have the financial assurance in place to ultimately close the mine and remediate the land. But increasingly, where there's strategic metals, you're seeing expropriation in sneaky ways, not just taking the asset outright, but raising tax rates to an exorbitant level such that the economic rents really are de minimis to the owner of the property. They really end up in the hands of the government. And so you're seeing that type of thing in strategic metals, in copper, zinc, the metals that were required for battery metals in the more difficult jurisdictions that we operate as mining companies in the world.
David, with your company, Gold Royalty Corp, is there a better time of the year for you than right now? Because I can't imagine, based upon a little bit of fear in the marketplace, fear index going. It's what you've been saying all year long. I mean, let's face it. And you've turned into a cash positive business. You've got yourself a decent market cap right now that's only going to get better. But my question is, when you see the fear index go up and you see the volatility of the market, there's no better time for guys like you, correct?
Yeah, look, I think fear, plays into gold in the short term, but I think longer term, it's really driven by economic fundamentals. I don't like ringing the fear bell all the time. Right. Yes, there's war in the Middle East, there's war in the Ukraine, and sure, there's a flight to safe haven currencies like gold in that environment, but that tends to be a short-term phenomenon. What really is driving gold and has driven gold for 50 years is the fact that governments can't help themselves. They can't help but print their currency and depreciate their currency. That's why the gold price has marched up irreversibly for 50 years and will continue to march upwards for 50 years. Fiat currencies are infinite in quantity, and gold is a very finite currency.
And we do it better than any. We're the least dirty shirt in the hamper at doing that, so to speak.
Well,
David,
you
thank
just
you so
told us
much.
to buy Serbian gold, so I'm on board.
David, we'll see you. I'll talk to you soon. We'll see
All
more
right.
David Garofalo on the program. David Garofalo, GROY, is our Gold Royalty Card. I want to own a Gold Royalty Card.
Yeah.
You guys do the work. I'll write the check and then make sure the proceeds come to me. God. Coming up, we're going to talk to an old Loft 100 Studios, the Big Biz Show, and our affiliates and our hosts are not registered investment advisors or broker-dealers.
Our show hosts make no commitment that the purchase of securities of companies profiled or otherwise mentioned in our programming
are suitable or advisable for any person, or that an investment in such securities will be profitable in general.
Given the nature of the company's profile and the lack of an active trading market for the securities, investing is highly speculative and carries a certain high degree of risk.
We profile selected publicly traded and privately held companies on our program.
Most of these companies that we profile have provided compensation to Loft 100 Studios and its hosts for the profile coverage.
From time to time, we sell shares of the companies profiled in the open market that we receive as compensation for coverage of client companies.
But never sell stocks if we are speaking about interviewing or covering a public company who has paid compensation.
Specific questions on compensation can be obtained by contacting producer at sullyentgroup.com.
Listeners should verify all claims and do their own due diligence before investing in any securities mentioned on this program.
Investing in securities is speculative and carries a high degree of risk.
We encourage our investors to invest carefully and read the investor information available at the websites on the
Securities and Exchange Commission at sec.gov and or the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, FINRA, at www.finra.org.
I like it.
Just give me a second,
Here
Luke.
he comes. He's got to do a little Michael McDonald. Keep forget, don't love anymore. Keep forget, things will never be the same again. Keep forget. Okay, yeah, that was a good idea at the time. Thank you, Mike. Whew. Big Biz Show, 125 million TV homes strong every weeknight, of course, thanks to BizTV and American Forces Network in 175 countries and all the ships at sea. And let's not forget Bloomberg Financiero.
Yes.
Que bueno.
Soon to be in Bloomberg EU, and then at some point at 1 in the morning, they'll put us on Bloomberg US. At some point, when nobody can see us overnight because they won't have us. Great to have you along today. An old friend has joined the studio. His name, Luke D'Angelo. Of course, the chairman and CEO of AppTech Payments. Boy, we had such a great story with you last year.
Yeah.
And then you went into the lab, and you said you were going to do this. You said things are going to change in a big way.
Yeah.
And they did. Yeah. So catch us up to speed on what's going on with AppTech. Great to have you in studio.
Hey, thanks for getting me here. And
perfect timing. We just happened to touch base with each other yesterday.
That's right. It was unbelievable, right? And today's my birthday.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go. Don't make me do a speed. Yeah, so you are celebrating your 40th anniversary of your the 15th year?
Actually, dude, I'm 21.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you act like that.
Yep, for the rest of your life.
So, last time we talked, I mean, you've got 30 years investment banking and real estate and venture capital and capital markets experience.
Yep.
How did you start it and sort of take us through the tale on the arc of the story and where you are now?
So I joined AppTech in 2013. My very good friends wrote some very powerful intellectual property, which is ultimately the cornerstone of mobile payment as we know it today. This technology is recognized by Google, it's recognized by Visa, Apple, AT&T, Verizon, Intuit, Fiserv. Pretty much any big name that you can think of has recognized our technology. But having technology and monetizing it are two different things, right? Mm-hmm. You're gonna have the greatest technology in the world, but if you don't have a delivery system, it means nothing. So we've been deep at work at AppTech, basically creating our disruptive approach to the market. And one of the exciting things is, you got your little restaurants, you got your little, stores. They go down to Chase,
coffee place, or whatever.
Wells Fargo. They get their merchant services. If you've got a website, you can go to GoDaddy, you can go to Stripe, you can go to PayPal. That's not what we do. What we do is basically we are the magic behind the engine.
You're the backbone.
We're the backbone, and for very large commercial operations, we provide them basically their back end custom made. they can't go to Wells Fargo. They can't go to Stripe. They can't go to these
because
places.
it's one size fits all.
That's right. And we have been very focused on the market and the niches that are going to create huge upside for not only our merchants, but for our company as well. I'll give you an example. Last year when we made an acquisition in the fourth quarter of Finzio, with their suite of products and our commerce line, we basically are being focused on being the leader in specialty payments, right? And that's where we come in and provide that custom back-end solution. One of the deals that we signed earlier this year in January was we signed the Reno Tahoe International Airport. When you look at it from our perspective and the municipality's perspective, you have landing fees, you have cargo maintenance fees, you have refueling fees, you have commissary fees, you have parking fees. Hey, that contract's 440 airports.
So why not funnel that into through one service or through one infrastructure?
What do you think we're doing?
By the way, Reno means something different to Mike. It means more bars and more places.
That's right. That's right.
For Mike Costa. I have to ask you, you said to us about, say, 18 months ago when we first had you on the air, that you're going to get to the point where if you can't pay with your phone, you may not do business at a place of business. Are we there? Because I think we are. It's almost where if I don't have the convenience,
yeah.
I mean, I left the house. I think the house without my wallet, not on purpose, but legitimately left the house without my wallet. I'm not concerned anymore. And you mentioned that was going to be a game changer. Does that change your world in any way, or you had already planned for that in the beginning?
We planned for it. If anything, we're enhancing it. We're providing all those tools to these large commercial operations.
When you talk about Reno, you're talking about an all-in-one, enterprise-wide solution, commerce platform. Talk about integration, because that's the tough part. You talk about a fully integrated approach, because that's the secret sauce, right?
It is. It's going to take us 18 months to integrate all these airports and bring them online, but we're doing, every month we're boarding more and more. It's about integration and boarding those operations on a very massive scale.
Okay, when he talks about a place of business and you can only use your telephone, are we talking eventually we're going to omit the plastic too? There's not going to be a swipe, there's not going to be a chip, there's not going to be a tap.
It's all going touchless and seamless. Eventually, no cash. Eventually, no cards.
Because of the safety features, also the biometrics involved in a cell phone right now, and so on and so forth. When you guys talk about integrating in a seamless, omni-channel experience, like you're talking about for the airports, how does that differ from just the payment space? Because it seems like it's two different places for me, or is it not?
It's two different spaces, because what we're doing is we're enhancing the payment space. We're providing the tools for our customers, like the airports, so they can get that seamless transaction. Municipalities which run the airport, they want to pay and they want to get paid right away, right? And they're very archaic systems that are in place. So really, what we're doing, along with the credit unions, we signed 2,000 credit unions, okay? And we are providing that back-end white label technology so they can compete with the big banks and offer that mobile payment or instant digital funding or ACH, all those tools.
Luke, by the way, Luke D'Angelo is his name, Chairman and CEO of AppTech. AppTech is a publicly traded company under the stock symbol APCX. You talked last time about how you have slayed the regulatory dragon, which was kind of, yeah, exactly. And that's him, by the way. Because you're dealing with money, you're dealing with credit unions, you're dealing with airports. How do you keep ahead of the regulatory issues? Because that's got to be a big piece of the time suck in developing it.
Well, there's obviously a lot of fraud going on. There's all these issues that fuel the regulatory concerns. So it's about providing transparency, seamless technology, and making our customers have the tools so they can satisfy those needs with compliance and cash management systems that we provide.
Okay. And for you, before we let you out of here today, it's great having you. And you're coming back next week. You're stuck.
Yes. I miss my friends here at Salt.
Well, of course. So here's my question. You're the CEO of a public company, but you can't tell us everything. But what's the rest of the year look like for you? And what's the next, what's the next, let's say 18 months and 5 years look like?
So here's the exciting part. Our development is done. Okay, our reach for developing is done. Doesn't mean we won't make extra acquisitions. We will. But for what AppTech is focusing on with our powerful technology, we're focusing on licensing, boarding, and integration. Licensing, boarding, and integration. AppTech has spent zero money advertising for customers. We have a pipeline that is 24 months, long. And really our focus at AppTech is to board, get profitable by the end of the year, which we will be, and keep boarding and keep looking for those great large transaction companies that we want to work with.
Luke D'Angelo for president.
Yep.
Right? I've said it before. I love his platform. Chairman and CEO of AppTech, stock symbol APCX, of course, AppTechCorp.com. And the best part about it, he's right around the corner. He's in the studio every week with us now.
Yep.
Luke, thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Hey,
much more Big Biz coming up. BigBizShow.com. Stand by. There's much more to come.
It is, wherever you're watching, wherever you are listening, we always appreciate you being along for the ride. The handsome guy talking to you right now, it's me, I'm Costa. You're welcome, America and the world. That's Greg Todorov, our executive producer.
Do you put the Costa, are you like, what is your 23andMe heritage? DNA?
Oh, I'm Scotch-Italian. And a little...
That's one thing you don't see very often. Order a thing of plate lasagna and a Scotch neat.
Yeah, I'm cheap, but I'll kill you.
Right.
Wait a minute. You're Scotch and Italian.
Yeah.
Oh, because you're thrifty.
Yeah.
All right. Remember?
The steel's from Nebraska. What? Pretty good. That's a pretty good Scotch, right?
I need Scotch now.
It's a little... Okay, I'll just
let it go in the ether.
Yeah, let it percolate. Sorry, I'm sorry. There's no going.
But I want to know, like you said, I'm drunk, but I steal from you. Is that what you said?
I'm cheap.
Oh.
And I'll kill you.
No,
yeah, you were close, Sully.
Two of the four sins, I'm sorry. My bad.
That's Irish and French.
Yeah. Okay,
that's
listen. Jonathan Javits, of course, good friend of the program, founder, director, chief scientific officer, and now chairman of the board of a company called NRX Pharmaceuticals. We've talked about suicidal ideation. You're going to see their Bizumentary. Yes, thanks. I get paid a nickel every time somebody says it on TV.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The BizTV is coming out here on BizTV as well as on Bloomberg and potentially coming up on Bravo. Or I beg your pardon. Bravo? There's Ovation. Bravo. Ovation, right?
Bravo.
See how I get mixed?
Both great.
Long story short is, we have a pretty good press release and things are moving forward. We've talked to Mike Taylor, our financial expert, about Hope Therapeutics and what's coming from that. News keeps getting better for NRX, and guess what I got? Because we're important. Jonathan Javits here. What's up, bud? Great to see you. Hey,
it's been a busy week.
It's been busy. Let's talk about, I want you to take it away because it's some pretty good news today in the market in terms of investors believing in NRX by putting in some money into the company. Talk about that.
Well, we're excited that one of the better and more thoughtful biotech funds out there, Anson Funds of Toronto, chose to bring in what will be between $10.5 and $16 million in convertible debt, and that's enough to get our drugs filed with the FDA.
You know, it's interesting. We were talking about this the other day with Mike Taylor, who's a financial expert on the program, who I know you're familiar with, saying that it's a different type of investor that takes literally the long soak. Mm-hmm. It's a fishing term. Thank you very much. Let's talk hookup. But it's a 7-year turnaround oftentimes for a startup investor into a biopharma firm because you got to go through FDA and you got to go through the bells and whistles. And oftentimes you got to raise money in between. So it's not a small task for a company like yours to go raise money. And it's a testimony to investors believing in what you're doing. So that's some good news.
Well, and in our case, it's been a brutal task. We started this company in 2015, and I went and saw the usual venture capitalists, and they all asked me the same question, which is what keeps you up at night? And I'd always have the same answer, which is, I worked on the SARS epidemic in the Bush administration, and a global pandemic would be really bad for our business. And because we're making the drug in Shanghai, which we're not doing anymore, a trade war with China would be really bad for our business. And they would all laugh. Well, it turns out we got both of those, and we survived both of those. And now we've got drugs that are ready to file with FDA and hopefully be on the market in 2025. So it's an exciting time for us.
Hey, Dr. Javitt, 2 questions for you in terms, I want to get to the drugs in a second. I want to talk about, you talk about 2025. Do you expect to take this to market to yourselves, or do we do what they call that risk aversion model and have a larger bio firm come in, pick up the ball, take it to the finish line, and you're working on your next drug? Can you share what your thoughts are on that?
Certainly for ketamine, which is a drug that's not a home use drug, it's a drug that's going to be given in clinics. We know who those clinics are. We're already working with those clinics, and through our Hope Therapeutics division, we expect to own some of those clinics. So when you've got a potential customer base that's under 1,000 people, there's no reason to work with a large pharmaceutical company. They can't really address a market that small, that compact, very readily. So we're certainly going to do that by ourselves. Now, our second drug, NRX 101, that's anticipated to be a home use drug, is one that'll likely be prescribed by fewer than 1,600 psychiatrists in the United States. And that, too, is a footprint that a small company can address, although a highly motivated partner would be great to have.
So, in my opinion, for you, you now have runway to complete the drug task, and then let's bring up Hope Therapeutics, because I think that's the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Can you share on that, where this puts us now?
Well, we have runway, we have a motivated investor, and we've got data that keeps getting better. So we've been talking about data that we're going to be presenting to FDA from about 1,000 patients, showing that ketamine is better than placebo, it's better than active comparator, it's as good as electroshock therapy for treating people with suicidal depression. Well, just this week, a study of approximately 43,000 patients, not randomized and prospective the way the FDA wants, but an observational study, what's called a cohort study, was published in a leading journal, showing exactly the same effect for ketamine in reducing suicidal ideation and depression. So we have a drug that patients need, that's rapidly becoming the standard of care. That's a life-saving drug, and that's an exciting place to be.
Dr. Jonathan Javitt, Founder, Director, Chief Scientific Officer, NRX Pharmaceuticals, on the
Not
NASDAQ.
to mention Chairman of the Board.
Chairman of the Board, excuse me, sir. Also NASDAQ, NRXP.
Howie, you got a question?
Dr. Javitt, pleasure to see you, sir. Congratulations on the deal. How important is it? I noticed that Anson Funds came out with a very strong statement saying, we believe in the science, we believe in the long-term vision. How much more efficiently are you operating with a partner rather than, someone that wants a deal done quickly?
Well, I think that it's a challenge in this market to find an investor who's committed to long-term success and not just committed to how quickly can we churn the stock. And as we've all seen, there are too many technical investors, and we've suffered from some of those. But the problem in the biotech market is investors who are going to take a long view, who are in the company to make patients' lives better.
And
not to be out next month.
I think the story is that after today's deal, you're past that. Well, maybe everyone else isn't.
I would agree. There you go.
Well,
Big Biz Show. Dr. Jonathan Javitt, Chairman of the Board, CEO, Chief Scientific Officer, Director of NRX Pharma. That's some good news. You will look for the Bizumentary on NRX and suicidal ideation coming right here on BizTV. More Big Biz coming up tomorrow. See you then.